Hello and welcome to the Invested American Podcast, episode number 5. 5, right? 5. Episode number 5. Thank you all for tuning in. We want to go ahead and get started. A lot of exciting things going on at the Invested American that we want to share. Some great things that we want to talk about today in building your business regarding sales, maybe some sales tips and some good decisions to make. Alexander and I are both excited to be here with you all today, and my daughter Theory, who obviously helps in making all this happen from behind the camera to what you see online. And we just appreciate. Please like and follow, and please share this content with others. But Alex, man, how are you? You doing okay?
I'm doing great today.
All right, I am fired up. You fired up today?
I'm fired up.
I mean, you like when I say that? That's a thing that happens. I'll always say, when I'm at home. So you fired up? Yeah, I'm fired up right now. You always got to be fired up. So, anyway, why are you fired up? Because you should be fired up.
I'm fired up because the week's going great.
Okay, so what about your business? Where's the week going great?
So Monday, I had a very successful day. I had 5 appointments and I sold in 3 of them.
Congratulations.
So
good. So you met with some good quality people. Good.
That was exciting. And then Tuesday, I was back in the office for Wednesday and Thursday. And then Wednesday, I had a pretty big day with Jeff. We were able to help a couple clients out with a couple different things.
Beautiful.
And then finished the day with about 3 apps. So
nice.
And then today, Thursday, I had 2 apps as well. So I'm sitting at a pretty good week.
Yeah, that's great, Alexander. Well, Alex, you're saying that, one of the things always that we train on at the Invested American and really in the insurance industry, I think it's pretty much a known thing here that if you can get more than one policy in a house, that just solidifies the business. From someone canceling, someone no longer wanting the business or something. Right. If you could get 2, it solidifies the business, great. And most insurance companies have said that if you could get 3 pieces of business in one house, okay, you're really locked in a house that's really bought into you and they're not going anywhere.
Right.
How well are you doing, as you're out there every day selling multiple policies in a home? And what are really some of your primary things that you've really been in the field really focusing on recently?
Right, yeah. So mainly, when I go through the fact finder and I'm going through the whole thing, asking the questions, with where they're at with their Medicare, medical, and then their life insurance, and then home health care, cancer, hospital indemnity, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll go through the fact finder.
You mentioned a lot of United National Life products.
Yeah,
nice shirt.
Yep.
Okay.
I've been loving that company.
Yes.
So then I'll go through all that. If they're on an Advantage plan, for example, I'll definitely help them out with the hospital indemnity and home health care.
Perfect.
If they have no life insurance, I'll help fill that gap too. Or if there's a way I can help save them life insurance, whether it's their premium, get them a higher death benefit if they need it.
Sure.
That type of thing. One thing I learned about what most agents don't do when it comes to them getting in a house or over the phone is cross-selling. Right?
Okay, sure. Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of people in our industry that we may see at like 8% or SWAT, they may be just doing straight life insurance.
Sure.
I was actually on the 8% virtual with Cody.
Okay. When was this? A couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you had saw me on it in my office.
Yeah. I remember. That was on a Friday, I think.
Cody's dad, Brian, hopped on for a segment, and he started diving into cross-selling and how important it is and how much more business you can get from cross-selling, like Advantage plans, ACA products, life insurance, And it's it's a really big game changer when it comes to cross-selling because most agents don't do that.
They don't, and it's interesting you say that. I was talking with a couple guys just the last couple weeks, and that there's some guys that just in the Medicare space.
Right.
No, dude, I just do Advantage plans.
Right.
And then there's those guys that just do Advantage plans, but they don't sell hospital indemnity.
Right.
It's like, how are you in just that sector?
Right.
And you're not selling those two? I mean, they go hand in hand. It's like, if you got a right glove, you need a left glove. I mean, that's just how it works.
It's just when you do one, you can get the other, and that's just more commission, and obviously you're helping the client out even more.
I agree. Yeah, it's good stuff. So Alex, obviously you're feeling good about the Medicare space. You're feeling good about the life insurance space, and obviously these ancillary products.
Right.
At the same time, we've been talking about, on the last episode we spoke about consistency,
right,
and we spoke about what it means to be consistent and what that looks like, and now we're talking about the success you're having with the consistency, right?
Right.
So I feel like it's, when you hear the phrase, sometimes you're in a zone, you can just feel it. Just things are, I feel like you're in a space right now in your business. If it's your phone calls, if it's you running appointments, you're in a space where you're in a good zone. Things are going good, right? Well, am I making sense?
Yeah. Am I so definitely, like for example, today, you come back to consistency, right? I had a phone appointment today that rolled me, and then I had actually another in-home appointment today that rolled me.
Okay.
I could have called the day good, said, you know what, I could be done, but I didn't. I went to go do it, more door knocks.
Yep.
And then I got in the home.
Perfect.
Like I told you. Got in the home. The lady had a $5,000 policy paying $94 a month, and then there was some riders or something attached to it that has a casket attached to it or something. Okay. I don't know, something crazy I've never heard before.
Okay.
She was paying $94 a month. I was able to get her a $15,000 policy for $85 a month.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Nice
So that
job.
was a game changer. She knew that was a no-brainer. And I was able to help her out in that way. And then
far more coverage.
Yeah, and I wasn't done then. I went out and did more door knocks, and then I was able to get another app.
So today you sold 2 policies on door knocks because your appointments faulted.
Right.
Nice job. Way to be resourceful.
And
nice work.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It is a game. Alex, I'm so proud of you. It reminds me, this is funny. So, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. For those that don't know, I'm a huge MJ fan. I mean, it's all about the Thriller album, okay? But there was that last show they did with Michael Jackson. Theory, do you remember the name of that show, that documentary they did? No? Look it up. I want to know what the name of that show was. They had a documentary. Oh, This Is It. Remember? It was called This Is It, I think, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay. So it was called This Is It. So in it, they're showing him preparing for his final concert that they're doing, right? In it, the director, I forget what his name is, he says, okay, Michael, how are we going to know that you want us to make the next move? He goes, because I'll give you a sign. And he just did something, right? Like, I'm going to give you a sign. And he goes, yeah, but Michael, the screen is behind you. How are you going to know? Because we're waiting on you, right, but you're the only one that can't see the screen. He says, you don't need to worry about it. I'll feel it. And I feel like as a salesman, when you're out working with people, you can do that. Like, you start to just feel like, I know, just talking to the guy, I know how this is going to play out. I know how this is going to go. Yeah. It's like I'm calling it the Michael Jackson effect. Right. You just feel it. Talk about that. Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
I think it's perfect because, for example, if I'm doing a door knock, right, and a client, I'm knocking on a client's door and they say, I'm not interested, for example, right? I've overcame I'm not interested before, right? And I'm sitting there talking with the client trying to overcome the objection.
Right.
And they keep saying that they're not interested. So, and at a certain point when I keep trying to come over the objection, they keep giving it to me. But they're still letting me try to beat the objection.
Sure.
And I'm still getting the non-interested. I'm like, I'm just wasting my time,
right.
So there's different ways, kind of with like what you were saying. So that's kind of the thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah,
when you say
because
that.
you just, okay, I can get over this. This is going to be good. You just know. It's good stuff. So I'll tell you just so you'll know when you're in the momentum phase, that's not where you get complacent. That's when you just have to keep lighting it up and make it, this is it. We'll call it the Michael Jackson effect, the MJ effect. I like it. All right.
Insert your Beat It photo.
right, exactly. I do have a Beat It photo. No, you do have it. You do have it.
I do.
I had the Beat It jacket, the zippers, the whole deal. I had that. That was me.
That was you.
Oh, that's
we used
good
to,
stuff.
Back when we were kids, me and Theory,
yeah,
and all of us used to play the Wii.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson.
The Michael Jackson Wii. Remember the Michael Jackson Wii?
Yeah.
That was great.
We used to play that all the time.
Oh my gosh! And then you the dance.
And then
I remember playing that.
And then it would keep the record of who set the highest one.
Yes.
You'd always try to beat it.
I don't think I was good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Hey, you know what? If you ever played the Michael Jackson Wii, man, comment on this podcast and let us know. And let's start a talk. We gotta bring that back. Record some content doing the Michael Jackson game.
We gotta find a Wii.
Yeah, you're right. We don't have the Wii now. We don't have the Wii. Well, we kind of digressed a little bit. Let's get back on here. Let's get back on. Something that I want to get into today was, when you're building your business, I was working with an agent today. The reason I'm still all dressed up today is I was out in the field. We went out to city a couple hours away, ran some appointments today, myself and Itzel, one of our agents, Itzel Gudenez, and she's just doing a great job. And we had a great day today. We just got back. We wanted to record a show tonight as we're just trying to keep up and make sure we get episodes set up. But anyway, today we were talking, some topics that were discussed. I was like, man, I'm going to discuss this a little bit with Alexander on the podcast. And again, please share and comment below some of your thoughts about this too. But when we're making decisions about our business or we're making decisions about our life, I think they're the same. Alex, I think that it's the same. It affects everything, and I think there's core decisions that we make. And I was watching some stuff that Patrick Bet-David was doing, and he was talking about the 5 decisions that people make, okay, that are going to be game changing for you to have a good big life or not. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he talks about is who you marry, right? Who you marry is game changing. Well, I will say, I totally agree with that. I'm married, and I think the woman that I'm married to is being game-changing, from the first time I ever met her. I love you, Shelly, by the way. I'll say that. But, I think that who your spouse is critical.
Right.
And I know that you're young, so you're not there yet in that regards. But what I'll tell you is that I think, Alexander, that your understanding of relationships, you can see the value of it.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. You need someone that's supportive.
Yep.
When you come home to welcome you and be that support.
Sure.
For sure.
And be, what was great about your mom throughout the years, man, right now, even, as we're growing the Invested American, as we're launching this podcast, as Ali Salah Obsessed with Your Success begins to also take off, your mom has always been like this person for me that when things are going good, she's there to celebrate with me. And you want to celebrate when you're winning. You want to celebrate. She'll celebrate with you. But your mom also is there for when, you have, for me, in my sake, for we're talking about me and your mom and our relationship, for when I'm doubting myself, when I'm nervous about something, when I'm scared, when it wasn't going where I thought it was going, or even like when we're doing something, she's like, man, just hang on a second. She's just always been so good to help me try to stay somewhat even keeled. Right. To help me try to keep that balance because I could get really excited, and then I'll even be like, oh, and I'll just let my emotions get the best of me at times when I know it's a principle not to. But not that it doesn't happen, So I think the spouse thing's a critical thing. And, when we do interviews, we've talked about it. We always ask during an interview, tell us about your life at home. Who do you stay with and how supportive are they?
Yeah, you need a support team.
It's critical, right? The next one, I'll just say, these next 3, I'll just say them all in a row. He said drugs, arrest, and bad friends. Yeah? Well, let's be clear. If you're doing drugs or you're getting arrested, those are 2 bad things that be going on for you. And if you're in a circle of bad friends, that's going to be a bad thing for you to have, right? All 3 of those so again, it comes back to who you surround yourself around, right? And then the last one he said is bad habits. What bad habits you have, and I think, Alex, I always try to do good habits because I know I got my own vice. When I get too nervous or whatever, I might bite my nails, and I hate doing that. So, always got to make sure because people. And by the way, we talked about this before, not on this podcast, but a podcast before. Look, if you're an insurance agent, just remember when you're sitting down with somebody, they look at your hands, and if your teeth are all, if your nails are all mangled, or don't look like you take care of them, they're going to see that. And remember, people's perceptions of people, which this perception is really true. How you do some things is how you do all things. I had a client one time tell me, well, can you take me over to the bank? And I said, yes, sir, I'll take you to the bank. He gets in my car with me, and the car was clean, meaning there was no clutter in it. There's some dust, I'm sure, but there's no clutter. He goes, man, you keep a nice car. Makes me feel good about doing business with you. And I said, really, sir? Well, I'm excited about that, but why? He goes, because how a person keeps his car is probably how he keeps his bedroom, and how he keeps his bedroom is probably what's inside his head. Do you have order or don't you? Yeah. It's just powerful. Just powerful. Alex, what would you define, I'll put you on the spot here while we're talking, bad habits will hurt you from being and having and achieving that life that you want. Right. What do you think is a habit that you would define of yourself that's bad that you need to work on? I shared, biting my nails.
Right. I would definitely say, kind of like what I was mentioning last podcast, was a bad habit I have that some people may think that's not a bad habit for them is I think me not getting up in the mornings to work out. Okay. Because I think it's taking away time for me to work from for example, to 6 to 8 rather than me going to work out from 6 to 8.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I've been getting better with that, getting up in the mornings to work out, but I need to hold myself accountable to keep doing that because that's only kind of setting myself back for the business that I could be working from 6 to 8, that I can make a sale in that time.
Absolutely.
Right? You used to tell me back when I was pretty lazy with my business, you would say, I would be at the house and you would tell me, this would be like 4 or 5 o'clock, and you would probably be getting in at like 5 or 6, and then you would say, shouldn't you be out door knocking right now, Alexander? I said, and I would just give you some whatever answer.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
and then you told me if you were out door knocking right now, you feel like you would have had a good chance to sell something in the span of 3 hours, and I said, probably.
Yeah.
And then you said, why aren't you doing it? And I just kind of like kept pushing you off, you know. And like I've said, this past upcoming year, you know, my eyes have been really woken up to that. The things that you've told me, you know, from SWAT and all that type of things, that I need to work longer. So getting up in the mornings and working out is what I need to keep doing.
Yes.
So I don't have a bad habit of me not selling at later in the day.
That's right. That's good, buddy. And I could appreciate that because you know what? It's so easy, man. It is so easy. And you've watched me over the years. It's easy to, getting in the rhythm to working out is great once it's happening. Right. But it's so easy to fall off of it. All I got to do is miss a few days, and it's easy to miss a third day.
Just click the snooze button.
Yeah, my God. And, sometimes not even the snooze button. It's just, I'll just do this instead. I'm going to jump at the sauna every day anyway. So if I'm going to do the sauna anyway, sometimes I'll work out with the sauna. Sometimes I'll just do the sauna. Mm-hmm. I can just sit down and not have to do anything. So it's so easy to get in that. You just cannot allow yourself to get into any bad habits.
Right.
You can't get.
It'll hurt you and your business.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Well, another point that I wanted to discuss today, regarding, we talked about this also, was really our sales tip of the day. And what I mean is I want to try in every episode for Alexander and I to share with everybody our sales tip of the day on our episode. And on this week's episode, I really wanted to say, I think our sales tip of the day for everybody that we want you to understand here and really buy into is, as an insurance advisor, as an insurance agent, whatever you titled yourself, it is not your job to know everything.
Right.
It is not your job to tell your clients, I know that. I know the answer to that. I know what that is. Your job as an advisor is to advise your clients. And when they have questions you don't know answers to, what's the best thing to do, Alex?
You call someone.
Call somebody. Google something. Tell them, you know what, Mr. Jones? That's a great question, and I got to tell you, I don't know the answer. But you know what? I told you earlier I'm the most resourceful guy you're ever going to meet. Allow me the opportunity. Let's figure this out together, and we get to work.
Yeah, someone on your team knows,
That's right.
Even if you have 15, 20 agents or you have 100, someone on your team, knows what the question or what the answer is to the question.
Alex, what's a scenario that you've had maybe recently or, recently? Mm-hmm. Where's a scenario where a client asks you something you didn't know? You're like, man, let me find out. And either you Googled it or you called somebody. What did that look like the last time that happened? Because, again, the reason we're bringing it up as the sales tip is because why? What do agents always do? They got to know everything. Mm-hmm. They act like they know everything. Yeah. You better be careful. These clients are on the internet. Like, they're learning things. They might ask you questions just to see if you'd lie to them or act like you know something that's not true. You got to be very, very careful. You could be sitting in a client's home today, and they could be Googling you on their phone as they're talking to you to find out who's this guy sitting in my house. So I'm just giving thoughts.
Right. Go ahead. What was the question again?
That's great. That's great. I was making the point, when was the last time?
Oh, I got you. Okay. So I can't remember offhand, but I can remember, I don't remember the direct question the client asked me.
Okay.
But it came with annuities because I'm still somewhat fresh to annuities, but I know how to kind of, how to educate a client on what they have to what they could have.
Okay, right, yeah. You're learning the process.
Right.
Sure.
Right. And
by the way, I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. You're getting in front of people that have opportunity to invest money with the different products that we offer at the Invested America. But continue.
The client started asking me all these different questions. I don't remember offhand because it was probably like 2 or 3 months ago.
Sure.
About an annuity product, and I didn't know anything. So
Yeah.
what did I call? I think I may have called you, and then I called Jeff or Zach.
Okay.
Right. Because they've been out in the field consistently.
Yeah, they know.
Right.
They know. Yeah.
They've sold a ton of annuities. They know the game when it comes to annuities. So. Yeah. I was honest with the client. I said, Mrs. Jones, I really don't know. I really don't know the answer to that, but I know someone who can help us to figure out the answer for you.
That's right.
Made the client feel good. I got Jeff or Zach on the phone. I couldn't remember offhand, but they helped us. They helped us with the situation.
That's great.
So the client felt good about it, and then I think it was Zach. I got Zach on speaker with the client, and then kind of helped us.
Perfect.
Figure out what's what.
Perfect.
So that was really good. The client felt good.
And the client feels good.
Right.
Because the client wants an agent, an advisor that is going to be honest and truthful, not somebody that is doing something radically different.
Right.
Yeah, no, I love it, Alex. I love it. And all this is a build-up to about trust. Remember when we were talking last week on the show, we talked about consistency and about, when you're sitting with the client and repetitiously asking certain questions and how that works out, right? So at the end of the day, this is all about trust. So when they see you and they're like, man, this guy doesn't know the answer. Said he doesn't know the answer. I mean, they may not even know how to act because everyone's always trying to act like they know something.
Right.
So I think that's super powerful, I guess I'll ask you, do you feel like you have a great understanding now, Bud, on when you're out, and how that trust factor is like, can you think about times that, all right, trust was working well here, and then here's where, man, I can't get this guy to budge. Do you know what I'm asking?
I kind of know what you're asking.
Yeah, it's the whole trust thing. Like when you go into someone's home,
right.
What do you do when you start feeling like, let's say you're in someone's house and you're like, okay, it's just I'm not vibing with this guy. I don't think that this guy's trusting me yet.
Right.
What's your shift? What do you do? Here you are, a young salesman just getting started. You're dealing with people 3 times your age, sometimes almost 4 times your age.
Right.
What does that look like?
Yeah, I would definitely in the beginning, for any client, right, when it comes to building trust, talking about what they have on the wall, pictures they have on the
pictures
walls,
and stuff. Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Talking about their profession, what they do, how many kids they have, what are their kids doing, grandkids, whatever the situation is.
The relationship process.
Right.
Sure.
I think when it comes to when you're not vibing with the client, I would definitely say start talking about their kids and asking what they do, because they'll start going on and on about their kids.
They will.
Right? They'll sit there for 5 minutes talking about each individual kid.
Yep.
Right? So if you're an agent that's trying to overcome that, definitely talk about the kids. And then start telling the client what you do and how you can help them and how you help clients. Because I think that'll make the client feel like, okay, he helped, or give examples. You give examples to the client that I've done this, and this for the client.
That's really good, Alex.
Right.
Your coaches, keep going.
Yeah.
That's great.
So when you're at that point,
yep,
you start telling the client, give examples of how you helped past clients and how you could possibly help them, right? And it'll kind of be like, okay, he could possibly help me. Then you kind of start explaining the product and how their gap and how you can fill their gap.
Yes.
With the product that you're offering.
Yes.
Right?
You're identifying the needs and you're showing how to fill those voids.
Right.
And you believe that is part of the process of the trust game.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Because the client think, oh, he's some stranger just kind of trying to come sell me something,
I love this. This is so good. Dude, you just killed it. That's such a great explanation. You know what it does? It reminds me, Alex, this is great for you. I'm sure we've talked about this before. The word is form. Mm-hmm. When you meet with a client, part of what you want to do is form. Form is F-O-R-M. Form. F stands for family. O stands for occupation. R stands for recreation. M stands for money. When you're sitting down with somebody to build a relationship with them, you should form them. Mm-hmm. And you form them by family. Look at the photos and what they have. Occupation, what did they do? What did they do for a living? Recreation, what's for fun? What do you do for fun? And everyone has this in common. We all need some money. Right? That's the process, and that creates the trust. Anything else you want to touch on when it comes to trust in sales, in our process for insurance agents and what have you?
Yeah, I mean, even for an agent that, does telesales, still building trust with the client, asking about their family.
For sure.
Just what you said, form, just the family, profession, occupation or occupation.
It's family, occupation, recreation, money.
Yeah.
Say it. Family, occupation, recreation,
money. Sorry.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I love it. So when I was first looking to buy, Alexander, my first house in the insurance business, that's the house that we bought in Camelot Park. Remember? To get the loan, I was taught that you couldn't have an overdraft fee on your bank account for 6 months. Like if you ever had an overdraft fee, like if you ever overdrew your account, you spent more money that was in your bank account. That's called an overdraft. Well, when that happens, they give you a fee. Mm-hmm. If that ever happens in 6 months, the banks will not loan you any money. They're just like a standard. I was like, wow, that's a weird standard. Well, thank God I used to do that, but I hadn't done that in the last 6 months just since I've been involved in the insurance business. Praise God, I've just done a better job of that, right? So that's fine. And Danny, the reason I'm making that point to you is this. In that scenario, you could be a great bank customer. All these years, done always a great job. Always going to the bank, they always loan you money. They love having you coming to the bank. But you, one time, position yourself where you overdraft your account. They will not loan you any money, and they suspend you from that privilege for 6 months. That's how much you can have all this trust and all this credit, and it gets all wiped away by one action.
Wow.
It is. And then I saw something that really hit home. And here's one for you to think about. If a guy gets married to a woman, and they're married for I don't know how many years. So think about it, 24 hours in a day. That's going to be about what? That's 700 some odd hours a month, maybe 800. Okay. So let's say that you're married for maybe 50,000 hours to this person. 50,000 hours, right? And then the man, for 2 minutes, cheats on his wife. What did he just do? He broke the trust. Mm-hmm. He broke the trust. All those hours he invested in the relationship, all that time gets destroyed in 2 minutes. I guess the point I'm making about that for everybody is that's how it is in our business. Yeah. That's how it is with our clients, man. Before we ever leave a home at the Invested American, we teach this, and we'll just share it with everyone on the podcast, and else we'll leave up with our final thoughts. What I tell agents all the time is when you're done with the sale, when you're done being in the client's home, here's what happens next. Explain to the client what's going to happen in the process. Mrs. Jones, tomorrow you're going to get a call from me. Do you know what we call that call? No, honey, what is it? At the Invested American, we call it the day after call. And I kind of chuckle. And I say, all that call is about you and me making sure we connect to let you know everything's good with everything we did today and everything's going forward. And if I did have a concern or a question, I'd be able to ask you that too. And then moving forward from there, you'll hear from me every single week, once a week until you get your policy delivered and I've sat down and explained it to you or we did some sort of Zoom meeting to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Every single time. And when you do that and you call them, they form a relationship. You no longer become a phone number on their cell phone. You become the name pops up on the cell phone because they store you. You become a part of them with the communication that you have. That is instilling trust. That's instilling the relationship. That's helping it grow to the next level. That's how you expand to getting referrals.
Yeah.
Your thoughts before we wrap up?
No, definitely. One way to, most agents know not to do this, or sometimes it's an accident, but this is one way that you can ruin trust with the client is telling them, we're going to get you this amount of premium for this amount of death benefit. Then they look at the policy, it's completely separate.
Yes.
Or, it's someone that doesn't smoke and you give them a tobacco, or someone that does smoke and you give them a non-tobacco rate, then they look at the policy and they're like, what happened? And then another agent may go and be like, well, you have this tobacco rate. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay the death claim.
Just trying to make a shortcut, make a commission. Horrible practice.
Then the whole trust is done with the client that sold them that policy.
That's exactly right.
That's something that you shouldn't do, obviously. Yep. But yeah,
I love it. That's a good job. That's good stuff. Well, good job today. I appreciate you doing the show, Theory. Great job. Appreciate you doing the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're grateful. Thank you so much. Please, again, contact us if you're interested in the insurance business. You got a question. Remember, myself, Alexander, our team at the Invest in America, we're all things insurance. Please keep plugging into the podcast. Please share this with others, and you guys have a great day.